knock on somebody's door and they open up and they never look in the camera, and you know doggone well that anybody opening their door and they see a camera crew there would be looking in there. So it's all rehearsed, it's all set up to give us the feeling of the storyline, because you have to do a lot of editing, and it's television TV. It's good TV. Yeah. So the that kind of brings us up to date. You actually, and I just want to touch on this a moment because I thought it was fascinating. You actually had the opportunity to be the guest real estate celebrity on House Hunters with your own family, showing them a house. How did that work out for you with your mother and father showing them a house?
Well, ironically,
being involved with the House Hunters.
Well, ironically enough, House Hunters had no interest in Brevard County about 8 or 10 years ago. It was difficult to get them to come out here. My house is worth what? We did many shows in Orlando and around the country, some in Hawaii even. And when I did all the other previous House Hunters, 3 of them, we did them in Orlando, we did one in Castleberry, we did one in downtown College Park, and we did one over by Disney. And I told the director, I said, can we start doing something different, someplace different? And I told them about Brevard County, in which at that time they said, well, we don't really know much about it and don't really care. I asked them to go ahead and allow me to present them some material, and I did, and they fell in love with our town, and they fell in love with Brevard County. And since then, I think we've done 9 or 10 total shows that have commuted from Island Life, My House is Worth What, as well as House Hunters. These shows have given us a lot of opportunity, a lot of national exposure, and it's really shown a different side of our community, and I'd like to take a little credit for introducing this to HGTV. Right. My parents actually were a resident here in Cocoa Village at Whitley Bay, and that's kind of what got it all started. I submitted the video content, and I asked them to kind of see what they thought, and they thought that my family did a pretty good job of meeting their criteria. And then they decided to, go through the process. They saw the home that they purchased, which was a very large 7,000 square foot home on the Indian River. And they decided that they wanted to pick up that show. And then after we did the main show, they loved it so much. It was one of their best rated episodes, which was called Beaches and Boats. That was such a good show. They actually converted it into a holiday series called $1 Million Homes of House Hunters. Oh, so they actually took the original House Hunters and then turned it into the $1 Million Homes, and they edited the original footage from 26 down to about 15 minutes and replayed it, and it was replayed for about 3 years on all the holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, which was really nice.
And that started, the $1 Million Home process started here in Brevard County.
Yeah, that's kind of when we started getting like the home renovation thing that was on South Tropical Trail. Again, all this stuff kind of stemmed from my relationship with them. And, again, it stemmed about 13 years ago, back in 2004. And those relationships are very, very strong.
Well, I know HGTV a couple of years ago gave away a house on Merritt Island.
Exactly.
And it's probably things of the past that you were participating in that got HGTV interested in having a house for sale.
That house happened to be in Utopia Circle, which is Egret's Cove in South Tropical. My father lived across the street. No coincidence.
Yeah. That's great. What brought you up to Brevard County? Again, all 3 of us here had our start in South Florida. So what brought you north?
Well, what had transpired is Miami in 1996. I graduated at that moment from Southwest Miami High. And what happened was a lot of things were going on in South Florida. The 90s were a little bit different, and sometimes there was some violence, some other stuff. I had just been graduating high school, off to college. My brother from middle school to high school, and my sister from elementary to middle. So it was a great transition time. My father and my mom had a relative here in Port St. John, and we had been visiting Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach area for a very long time, for about 15, 16 years. And so this opportunity, as we were all transitioning from one school to another, my parents felt it was a good opportunity to leave Dade County and get into a bit more of a quiet, relaxed environment so they could finish raising their family.
That's funny. That's exactly what brought me up here a few years later and a little bit older, and it was my children coming into elementary school. The question was, do we stay in South Florida and have him start there, kindergarten, or do we say, let's make a move now so he can grow up here? And again, for very similar reasons, it's just it's paradise up here. And for those of you listening all over the world, no offense to South Florida. I still go down there. I still do a lot of business down there and enjoy it thoroughly, but from a place to raise your family and enjoy the finer things in life, but in a quieter and more relaxed way, Brevard County can't be beat.
Well, we appreciate Ralph Perrone Jr. is our guest today, and he gave you a little background on house hunters and his celebrityism, as a new word for me there, all on how he got started and bringing life to Brevard County via the media. But tell us what's been going on since then. 'Cause that's about 13 years ago, and you've got into a lot of different things, different aspects with your businesses.
Well, what we've done is we've actually grown quite a bit. Those opportunities opened up so many doors, and it would be foolish for me to not have gone through those doors when they were open. And so at this time, between Perrone Properties, which is where we have about 300,000 square feet of commercial space we've amassed that we property manage full time. Then we've got Perrone Realty, which is we've got about 25 agents full time working in our firm to service Brevard County and Orange County. And we have Link Mortgage, which is our house flipping entity, which we actually are being featured here in Island Life, which is we just signed a contract yesterday. Yeah. Island Life, HGTV will be sending a crew, and they'll be doing on Merritt Island. One of the homes that we renovated will be featured. We also,
is it an ongoing show or just starting out, Island Life?
Island Life has been on, I think it's on season 2.
Okay.
So it's
and you're the primary. Is it go to different states like House Hunters did, or are you the primary realtor on that?
Island Life is a full series show, and it's going across the. They've done several shows in Hawaii. It's just any island anywhere. It's very similar to House Hunters. I'm not going to be the expert realtor. I actually was the gentleman who, we renovated the home in this case.
Okay.
The realtor, I'm allowing another firm to represent the buyer, but I'm the owner of the home that's selling it, and that's how they came across the home. It's a nice, beautiful canal home on Merritt Island that they wanted to feature.
Okay, so you were telling about that particular part of your company, and that was, did you say Link Mortgage?
Yeah, Link, L-Y-N-K, and what we've done is we've taken the problem childs of a community, some maybe defunct homes, maybe some properties that are a little blighted, and we're basically partnering with the community, and we're purchasing the asset or partnering with the homeowner. And that works a lot, or sometimes is to actually partner with the homeowner. And we do the renovation, and we split the profits on the backside. And the homeowner's a winner at that point. Maybe they don't have $30,000 to $50,000 to put into the renovation of the kitchen, the bathrooms, and all the other stuff, the flooring and the paint and the landscaping. Well, we can come in and do that with our team, get the house back up to full market value, bring it to today's current standards, and then we partner with them in the equity, proceeds.
So it's a equitable, the mortgage, in lieu of just giving a renovation mortgage, you're giving a loan with an equity share. I'm trying to think the words I'm looking for here, but an equity share on a payout.
What we do is we tie up the property contractually. They usually exit the home because of the amount of repairs that's going to be required. So they normally move on with their life. Normally these situations could be a tenant who's destroyed a property and the owner doesn't have the money to fix it, and they don't want to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, or they don't want to ding their credit. But they didn't realize that the tenant had done so much damage. They got caught. And I've done a couple of those. Sure. I've done a couple of the states where the family has realized that they could give away to a vulture or maybe a shark, where they come in and they purchase the asset for pennies on the dollar. So by me partnering with them, I don't have to actually come out of pocket with the acquisition costs. So I'm able to partner and split the proceeds with the homeowner, keeping my acquisition costs, and I could do more homes this way. And then the benefit is that the homeowner doesn't give away the farm. They get an opportunity to enjoy some of the proceeds and some of the money that is in that home that is just untapped.
It's just another source that we talk about on the show, because Jonathan has always talked about the hardest hit program to keep you in the house if you're behind on your payments. Here we have another opportunity that if you have a home that for whatever reason it needs repairs and it can't be listed at that point, or it would be on pennies on the dollars, you can partner with someone to help you get your house up to date and able to sell. All kinds of information out there that you may not be aware of. So that brings us up to a couple other businesses that you're involved in, and I want to make sure we talk about your charity event coming up. But tell us about some of the other things you have besides Link Mortgage and renovations.
Well, one of the other businesses we have is on State Road 520. The business is My VIP Auto Sales. This is a used car dealership. We're currently the largest used car dealership I'm aware of in Brevard County. We have an 8,000 square foot showroom on State Road 520. We're doing a lot of cars. We've sold 13 cars so far this week. I think it's only Thursday. So we've got 3 more days to go. I'm hoping to maybe do 20 cars by this end of this week. And in doing this car industry, we take ordinary vehicles, and we basically build custom trucks. We sell a lot of average vehicles too, just normal stuff, but we do specialize in customs, and we do some rims, and we do lift kits for trucks or Jeeps, light bars. We do things that help you stand out, and we kind of make you a unique individual and provide you that custom ride. And we do that from VIP auto sales with Space Coast Customs. And so if you came on to VIP auto sales and you love this awesomely gorgeous big truck, and you think it's really cool, but you're not into the 12-inch lift, you only want to go with a 4-inch lift, well, that's where Space Coast Customs, we have a shop, and we will build and design the exact truck you want with all the exact materials you want on it, from radio to seat installation and headliners. Your vehicle is customized specifically how you want, and we wrap it all into a finance charge and 1 monthly payment, which makes it easy. And what we're going to start doing at VIP Autos, effective immediately for the folks in Texas and Louisiana, we're going to start putting away $50 of every vehicle sold, and we're going to send that off to the American Red Cross. We're also going to be collecting as a drop-off distribution spot at our dealership at 234 East Merritt Island Causeway in Merritt Island, Florida. We're going to go ahead and allow anybody to bring anything that they want to get to those folks out there that they can't, whether it be water, canned goods, tents, sleeping bags, flashlights, anything that you guys want to get out there. We're going to go ahead and get a U-Haul, and we'll take it there once a month, twice a month if I have to. We've been doing stuff where we've been taking things by the plane into the Bahamas to orphanages, so we can get this done. We can get this into Texas for you. So we'd love to have your help and support to bring anything down to our dealership.
That's great. Tell us again the address on your. You had a couple of them. I think you talked about is the Space Coast Customs. Is that in the same dealership location at 234 East Merritt Island Causeway?
Yes, Space Coast Customs is inside the business, and that just allows you, once you've selected the vehicle of your choice as a stock vehicle, it allows you to customize it. And VIP Autos is definitely right there on 520 at 234 East Merritt Island Causeway. It's right across from Red Lobster and Olive Garden.
And that's where you can bring donations and supplies for the victims of the storms in both Houston and Louisiana. And again, our thoughts and prayers out to those folks. We know here in Florida how awful that can be. Thankfully, we've avoided that for a while now, and hopefully for a long while to come. But these storms can be awful experiences, and any donations, any supplies you can bring, it's not just about money. It's about just everyday life stuff, water, toilet paper, any of the supplies people need when they've been suffered such a major catastrophe.
How many people will you be taking? Are you going to need some volunteers to go with you to Texas?
No, probably not. We've done this before when we did the planes. It's usually just two guys. We use it from the church group that we're in over at East Coast. We'll normally go ahead and pop together some folks, and we can get it out there. We've done this quite a few times, so it's not a problem for us to handle that.
We only have another minute or so, but this fascinates me. When you get to Texas, how do you know where to go to get set up? I mean,
law enforcement.
The law enforcement will be there. I didn't know if they bring in the.
I know the guy who bankrolls FEMA. Yeah, he's a lineage of Coca-Cola. He actually funds FEMA for the United States. I have access to that gentleman, and he'll be able to get me to the right people that need it in those communities. And usually I just work with the local sheriff.
That's one of the problems that we see, too, when there's a disaster. It's always on a coast, and sometimes the bridges into these places are down, and it's tough. People always think that after the storm, 15 minutes later, I can walk outside and there's going to be a FEMA truck. That's why they always tell people 3 days of supplies, because you can't overnight get people to help you because they can't get to you sometimes. So this is a great another opportunity to get involved with your community, to put out that helping hand to our neighboring coastline of states that are experience what we do from time to time on hurricanes and such. Ralph Perrone Jr., it was a pleasure having you on the show. Please give out your information, how people can get in touch with you, or how they can get involved with this, what are you calling it, like a drop-off, or what do you have a name for it?
Drop-off's probably a good name. I mean, we've done it with toy tots. You know, we've done a lot of different things. So we've done this before. It's just that we have a beautiful building. It's 8,000 square feet, tons of square. I got 1,000 square feet room that I could basically store the stuff. So, you know, bring it all to me. We'll house it. We'll collect it for you, and then we'll get it there.
You have a website or
Well, the
email?
best way to reach me is either my Facebook page at Ralph Perrone, or you can contact me at 321-452-9838.